It, uh, it took exactly 11 seconds for a 30-year legacy of safety standards to completely unravel. 11 seconds. That is all the time it took on the night of July 6, 1988, to spark the most catastrophic offshore oil disaster in history. I am talking, of course, about the Piper Alpha platform. 167 men did not make it home that night. And when you peel back the layers of the official inquiry led by Lord Cullen, you find that the trigger was not some high-tech system failure or a massive, unpredictable storm. No, it was a simple, suspended paper permit. See, during the day shift, the crew had removed a pressure safety valve, valve number PSV504, for some routine maintenance. Now, they could not finish the job before their shift ended, so they put a blind flange over the open line. But they only tightened it hand tight. They left a piece of paper, a permit, sitting in the office to document this. But because the permit for the valve overhaul and the permit for the pump maintenance were filed separately, the night shift had absolutely no idea the relief line was wide open when they went to restart pump A at exactly 21:45. They turned the pump on and, well, the rest is a tragic history. But here is the thing that really gets my goat. Organizations look at Piper Alpha and they say, oh, we need better paperwork. We need tighter document control. Lord Cullen exposed the myth of the, quote, paperwork cover-up. He showed that having a signed piece of paper filed away neatly in a folder means absolutely nothing if the system makes safety-critical information dependent on where a physical sheet of paper sits on a desk, or indeed, what an outgoing supervisor happens to remember to say. We treat shift handovers like they are casual gossip hours, or just, tick-the-box exercises. We stand around, we grab a cuppa, we talk about the footy, and then, as an afterthought, we mention the massive piece of heavy machinery we just spent 12 hours working on. I remember being on a mine site a few years back. The day supervisor was handing over a 50-ton excavator to the night shift. No lockout, no tag out, nothing. He just looked at the incoming bloke and said, "She is a bit touchy on the stops, mate. You'll be right." She is a bit touchy. 50 tons of steel and hydraulic fluid, and the safety control is a verbal warning given over a half-cold coffee. This is how we breed near misses. This is how we set people up to fail. Now, some genius in an office somewhere always decides the solution to this communication gap is to expand the handover checklist. Oh, let us make it a 40-page document. That will fix it. But what actually happens is what we call checklist fatigue. When you overcomplicate the paperwork, cognitive fatigue sets in. The operators stop thinking. They just blindly copy and paste the previous shift logs. They completely shut down their spidey sense, or what safety science blokes call chronic unease. Sir Brian Appleton, who was an assessor on the Piper Alpha inquiry, famously said that safety is not an intellectual exercise. Safety is truly a matter of life and death. And when we reduce safety to a mindless clerical chore, we kill the very awareness that keeps people alive. A worker enters a system assuming the previous test was valid, assuming the paperwork is correct, and they stop looking for the danger. This is where we have to use the ICAM model to break this cycle. In our investigations, we do not just stop at human error. If we find poor communications, we code it. It is HF20 on the chart, which stands for poor communications. If we find people relying on undocumented knowledge, that is HF25. But those codes are just the start. They are the symptoms, not the system. We have to design the game, not just police the player. A durable safety system should not rely on a supervisor remembering to say a sentence, or a technician reading page 39 of a handover log. It has to use what we call conflict logic. If a relief valve is currently checked out on an open permit, the system itself must mechanically block the corresponding pump from being turned on. It should be physically impossible to make that mistake. The system should refuse to let you start the machine if the barriers are not in place. So, I will leave you with one sharp question to ponder on your next shift. Are we actually managing physical risk on our sites? Or are we just shifting paper to keep the lawyers happy? Think about it. Anyway, that is my bit for today. Stay safe out there, and I will catch you next time in the corner.